How many times have you said, I would love to see how a professional angler would break down my home body of water? Well, today, I get that opportunity. All right, so we're out here with Mr. Soukup. The hookup, by the way, make sure you go and subscribe to his channel, guys. He does some great things, and it's an honor to be out here on the water with him. First time I've ever got to fish with a pro, two-time National Professional Fishing League champion. So we know you've done some lake study. What is it that you're gonna do? Day one of practice for the Bassmaster Southern Division, right, Open, second stop of the year. Big tournament for John. I just want to stay the hell out of his way, just to be honest. Tell us what the conditions of the day are, and tell us what your ideals are going into the day.
Trying to look for a top 10, top 20 points, which means it's going to be over 14 pounds, okay? So we need to find a large amount of fish, able to last 2 or 3 days, and they need to be in the 3-pound class. So I have never been here. It's my first time here, first time actually on the water, just idling around. Conditions are, we've got a cold front coming in, heavy winds, like 30-mile-an-hour heavy winds, not light heavy winds.
Yeah.
So a lot of this little Ned rigging and stuff that you see a lot of guys doing, it'll be very tough to do that and have an area to yourself where you can do it at. Not to say that those fish aren't in the same areas. So figuring out how to get bit in the wind is going to be a big deal in practice, and that may not be the most common thing. It may be heavily in the wind, and it may be completely out of the wind. So we're going to go do a lot of things in the backs, things in the middle, things on the main leg, you know, steep sides, shallow sides. We're going to move around a lot. Now the conditions are the water is 52 degrees, so that's pretty cool, and it does not look like it's going to warm up at any before the tournament. No. Tournament day, it's going to get warm. It's going to be in the 60s for a low, 70s for a high. But there's also going to be 70% chance of rain and 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to get too clued in or worried about some magic bait or anything like that. I do want to know how to get bit in the wind, and I want to know kind of the areas of the lake that are hotter. Are we upriver? Are we middle lake? Are we down lake? And so it takes a lot of covering water. We're going to do a lot of grabbing today, a lot of running around, a lot of just looking, a lot of marking things. Probably shouldn't do as much fishing as I probably will do, but it's always getting that habit. You need to do a lot of looking.
Yeah.
Because I've never been here. What if I get a dock pattern and all I know is these docks right here that I've decided to fish for 4 hours?
Yeah.
I need to go look and mark rock. I mark a lot of different things, and then when I start eliminating, I know if I get on a pattern, I know how areas I can go run, even if I've never fished there before. I can put that together during the tournament. So
I'm not going to do a lot of fishing. I'm going to sit back and do a lot of watching. This is my first time with somebody out, you know, the caliber of John. So I really want to watch and learn. This is like class for me. So, you know, I want to be out here paying attention to, I know the questions you guys are going to ask. How long is he staying on a place? How many casts is he making on a place? What type? What's the structure? What's the cover? And those are things I'm just basically going to, you know, we're going to play like we're the NPFL or the Bassmaster guys, and I'm going to sit back here and sound like a golf guy going, so John's pulled up to a creek channel swing right now. And I'm just going to kind of narrate, tell you what's going on, because I mean, it's exciting for me. I can't tell the guy how much he's really been ever since I met him. And a big shout out to Brian, you know, from the basscast.com, Basscast Radio, how much I appreciate him introducing me to John. John is top caliber, and I'm telling you, I've said it every single time, you know, he's a future superstar. So let's go watch how a pro breaks down one of my home lakes.
okay, we're doing a little just first impressions. You guys see, look at all this bait, right? I mean, I've been down to the main lake. There was some bait on some drop out there in the main river channel, but not like this. And you can just sit there and feel we're in a calm area. You got these marina docks. It's retaining some heat, so what's going on? It's retaining a couple degrees heat. And so, you know, there's not a lot of docks and marinas. There is some on the lake, enough. There's not a lot for 225 boats. Everybody got on the same pattern, but there's enough that it's something I'm gonna have to look at before practice is over. And and you know, see if there's some fish that are getting up in all this bait. This is the buffet right here. So
Yeah.
just a quick glance at that. You know, you see the water temperature went up from 51 to about 52.8, so almost 2 degrees just by turning the corner. So I'm not gonna cast. I'm just looking, making mental notes. I started out in the main lake, and we just kind of drifted in. We're gonna go to the pocket. I'm gonna go all the way to the back, and I'm gonna watch the temperature change and watch the fish behavior. I'm looking at the birds, just kind of getting an idea of what the environment looks like before I start trying to actually pick up a lure and make some casts.
Yeah, I got you.
So we've been on the water for, I don't know, not even 30 minutes yet, and just mostly been graphing. But what I think I may have discovered already, is I think there's some little man-made brush piles and stuff that have been drug in. Good little staging stuff for fish that are wanting to spawn here in the next month to stage on. And I think we might be able to graph around in all these little back pockets and find us a little milk run of things that we can, you know, kind of run and make a cast or two on. They might only be good for one fish or not, but this one in particular has a good one living around it. He came and looked at my jerkbait once. So I am trying to get a bite now, just for a second, to see what it kind of takes. Do I have to move it fast, move it slow? Is jerkbait a thing?
We're not far from launch at all, and so what we've done is we've come into a pocket, definitely where, you know, they release a lot of fish. They release a lot of fish from the other side of the lake here, so a lot of major tournaments come out of these two areas. We've seen a lot of bait fish around the main point. It got, as we come in, we had bait fish all inside. And what I find really intriguing, and this is something that I was watching the red crest just yesterday, and it's been a big player all year, is check out what John is targeting right now. Okay, so, you know, we all know to fish flatter areas versus maybe the creek channel swing over here. And what we've really been finding this year is that on these slight brush piles, and that's what John just told you a second ago, is there was a brush pile, obviously man-made, which is incredible and tells you how many hours that he has put in on the water. And he had a big one. I seen the mark come up. I'm sorry I didn't get that on here for you, but this is really what I'm going to do today. You know, I brought some rods and reels, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Unless he wants me to pick something up and start throwing it, I'm probably going to sit here and do play-by-play on John's day.
One of the reasons why you don't see me running the bank right away, see there's that brush pile right there, that fish on it, is because to me that's the obvious last resort is run to the bank and fish the bank. So I'm going to try to spend a little bit of time, you know, fishing out, reading the fish's behaviors to see kind of how I would approach the bank. And then, you know, in the areas where the bank, if I see a bunch of fish out here but I'm not catching them, this will be the same area where I'll go try the bank. It's not like I'll go try a different area. I'll just go right to the bank.
Which is incredible to me how that's changed, how you can see the fish's behavior now. You know, used to we'd always talk about, you know, oh, they're swiping at it, they've got it on the outside of their mouth or whatever. Now you can really, really see how the fish are reacting to the baits and to the retrieves. So John, tell us what your go-to jerkbait rod reel line setup.
You know, I got an Alpha Angler 610 slasher rod, and that is my go-to jerkbait rod. I think your rod and line probably have the most important part of the process. I use 12-pound Sunline Sniper. 12 is my go-to line. There's a lot of guys that still believe that line size is important when you're jerkbait fishing, but like you have to go lighter to get more bites. I think that's a misconception that's come from the mono time period.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did have to throw a lot lighter line to get deeper and get more action out of your bait when we were throwing mono, because mono floats. You go to fluorocarbons now, you get too thick and it can dull your action. for sure, but it doesn't mean you'll go deeper when you go shallow, lighter in line. Like,
really?
When I want to go deeper, a lot of times I'll actually put 15-pound test line because the line weighs more and it'll pull that jerkbait down.
Wow.
Now, not when you don't want to do fast twitches, but when you want to do the slow thumb stuff, and let that bill do its job, the weight of that line will actually pull it deeper. So you know, so 12-pound is my good all around. Like, it's light enough that I can get the bounce out of the lure, and it's heavy enough that I can, you know, handle big fish. And I'll throw it, even when you see me throwing in timber, I'm throwing with 12-pound test most of the time. I will go to 15, and I occasionally will go down to 10, but I don't really find myself having to go much lighter than that.
That's something that's incredible to me because, you know, I fish highland reservoirs. Like, this lake isn't as steep continuously as, you know, my #1 home lake, which I'll be on tomorrow actually, which is South Holston. And so, you know, I generally fish even on a, you know, we'll say a mega bass, for example, you know, +1, you know, 110 +2. I'm throwing 8-pound test on it 90% of the time, fluorocarbon. So that's pretty neat. And what's neat about that is that I'm sure John has learned a lot about that too from that right there, because you can actually see how deep that bait is running.
No, I mean, you know, I take things back. I throw bait caster 90% of the time. So if you're a spinning rod guy, you know, 8-pound test line's going to come off your spinning reel a lot easier than 12-pound test line is.
Now, I'm a bait caster guy too, so that's good information.
Every creek run have bait like this?
There's a lot of them. This lake is heavy in bait.
Okay.
Which most of these lakes around here are. And most of the time, if I'm going to guess, that's probably small thread fin.
Yep.
They're probably 3 inches. Now there are alewives in this lake too, and a few gizzard. Oh,
first fish of the day.
Here we go, guys.
Keeper.
That is a largemouth. That is a keeper.
How much do largemouth have to be in
I think largemouth have to be 14 on this lake.
It's a 2.25, 2.5. Well, there we go.
There you go.
So he was high in the water column, like the highest out of all the fish. Confirms that what we're seeing is bass. And yeah, he came and chased down the jerkbait and ate it.
Really amazed. It amazed me that was a largemouth too. I was really expecting those to be smallmouth.
Well, kind of. I need to retie. I keep on telling myself I need to retie. I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah.
We're talking. We got a boat behind us anyway, seeing us. So, you know, the thing that I can do to save us a lot of time is we could graph through and find some pockets even closer to takeoff that have the same kind of bait, and just know, like right now I can stop what I'm doing and just know that there's, you know, fish. If you did it all day long, ground and pound, you probably get limit now. Would it be what you needed to, that guy? I'd say no, but we've seen some 4-pounders.
Still a keeper.
It's gonna go. A little confidence builder. Listen, we're ways away from takeoff, which I don't like that part because these things aren't big enough. But what I'd like to probably do right now is the time, or wait till tomorrow to check out some areas similar to this closer to takeoff. I might be able to spend my first 2 or 3 hours doing this and get a limit. I don't think it's a coincidence that the 2 biters were so close to the docks. I think those docks are retaining heat and probably living more on the docks right now. So, anyways, easy peasy. Boats around, no one else is catching them because they don't have their hooks exposed. They smarter than me. But you know, listen, burning a couple fish, build some confidence in your body water.
Oh yeah.
This lake's got a lot of fish in it.
Yes.
I'm gonna go look inside these little docks here. Well, try not to. I'm only gonna cast it like a super obvious one.
I got the bait ready.
We're ready now. Take another one real quick if you guys want to.
Hey, you gotta get the confidence. You gotta catch a couple on, especially on a lake you've never been on, to get the confidence up. So, John, you know, as humble as he is, you know, by the way, as we were speaking earlier, you know, he's
It's hard to be this humble when you're this good looking, but
you know,
take some practice.
it does. You know, his wife keeps him grounded. We'll give her a shout out and say hello to.
She actually does ground me. She's like, "You're grounded." And I'm like, I don't want to be grounded.
So anyway, you heard him. We're gonna
Hank,
check
is
out.
it? You know, she calls me jerk all the time. She says it's a term of endearment. I thought it's just because I set the hook all the time.
It's a nicer term than what my wife calls me all the time. So.
I think we got one at 70 feet out.
75 feet out. Look at that. Hey guys, what amazes me about watching John so far today, and I'm going to get back here out of his way. What amazes me about watching John with this, because I've tried, you know, just like one time with my buddy Tyrone, and just the accuracy, you can tell how much time he's put in with doing this. And you know, just watching him drop earlier the underspin on their heads, and I was just like, wow, that's extremely accurate. So, and that takes a little time and patience, but he's definitely got it down. So stop number 2, he's got a theory working. Picked up a shaky head, which I was really surprised at first, but he's seen something out here suspended up. And he's talking about these warmer areas. You can see the birds off in the distance, these flatter areas. And he's working a fish right now. Good dog's coming right up to it. Right with it. I seen that one coming.
Brown fish.
That is definitely a keeper. I think that's how it goes.
This is how we do.
Don't get me demonetized, man.
They won't even recognize it. They'll be like, that wasn't toned. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna weigh this guy. I think he's closer more to the size that we're looking for.
I do believe you're right.
Yeah. I don't think he'll go 3, but I think he'll go 2 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? 2.5, 248?
Yeah, 2.5. I think you're right on.
$231. It's a pretty fish.
Pretty fish.
Still not the size class that we need, is it?
Nope. This is stop number 3. John right now is throwing a crankbait out here. We're right at the end of a channel swing, little bluff wall you can see kind of run down through here, and then it kind of flattens out up here. So first 2 spots we've stopped, he's put fish in a boat, keepers too, which is great. So now he's checking something a little bit different. What are you thinking, man?
I think I need to spend some time doing some other stuff just because I've already caught some fish doing some things. So I need to check some of these main lake bluffs for sure, which I'm just kind of cranking down for a second, kind of get a feel. At some point I'll flip and stuff too, but we're going to actually go look at these docks and where this transition's at and see if, you know, more main lake, smallmouth, if we can catch some of those smallmouth doing the same things that we caught those largemouth doing. And if so, you know, are they bigger? So that's what we're looking for, bigger bites now. We figured out how to get bit, which is good. We got a limit already, but the limit probably weighs 12 pounds. So time to look for 3-pounders.
Oh. Is it? Boy, he's fine.
Largie. 15 inches on largemouth, you see?
Yep. I have a hard time finding it to make sure.
Everything I've read from everybody. Okay. What? I think it's a 15 incher. And there was a bunch of them with them, wasn't there?
Yeah, bunch.
We got ourselves a little jig, which is up underneath the dock. There was a bunch of them with it.
A bunch.
And I couldn't get them with the jerkbait. So I threw a little jig in there. Yeah, he's 16.
There we go.
2-pounder. Little 2-pounder. See what we can more of the dock pattern we're kind of expanding on the dock.
We're at stop 4. Listen, the man has caught fish everywhere he's stopped. Again, kind of disgusts me in a way because it tells me how bad I obviously am and how much better he is than me. But we're kind of running some new stuff. He's throwing some crankbaits out there, checking out and seeing what else we can find. You got anything to say, brother?
I get frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm mad at him right now. Part of it has to be with all this clothes and being cold and everything like that, but
Yeah.
the other part of it just has to do with the wind. But it's the good thing is we figured out how to get bit. So now all we got to do is work on what's part of the lake and, you know, eliminate some things, do some different things, do some things we may not even think are the right thing to do.
Right now, the biggest thing is he's looking for the size upgrade to put him where he wants to be. There you are. That's a smallie.
There's the one we want to get down there. Okay. That's what we're looking for.
It's funny because the whole time I've been sitting here thinking, I wish you'd get that, I don't know if he's got that elgy bone color with that hard chartreuse belly, but a lot of times that'll get them call up those smallmouth. This is like stop number 5, I'm thinking. Yeah, and every single place he's caught fish. Caught the smallmouth the last time. Hooked up on a good one right here. So he's made a little color change. And I'm gonna let him work this one in and tell you about it. He's gone to that elgy bone, or however you say it. It's got that hard chartreuse bottom on it. And he is calling them up now, getting them to really react to it out of these rocks. So we're fishing a little different places than what we've fished thus far. Anything you want to add to that?
Feeling better, feel more confident. That was a good one. That's what I had. Now we didn't get them on camera because my hooks were all rolled in. But he doubled that rod down. I'm gonna say he was a solid 3.5, 4.5 pounder. That's what we're looking for, is how to get those to bite. I already figured out how to get bit. I'm confident now I can get my limit, but I'm not confident that I can compete. Chartreuse bottom he's talking about. These fish just weren't acting right, so we wanted something maybe triggered their brain a little bit. It is really a little bit dirtier than they like here, so that's why we put that jerk bait on.
We've been actually covering a little bit of water, fishing a creek that I'm pretty familiar with, and trying out some things. We got back to the back of the creek and the water temperature actually dropped on us. We're toward the middle of the creek right now, and the water temperature has raised back up. So I'm gonna come up here and we'll ask John to give us an update on what he's thinking so far.
Well, I don't know what I'm thinking. We're just gonna take every day, one day at a time, but it doesn't look like the fish have just rushed to the bank yet.
Yeah.
If they are, then they're in an area that we haven't found her. So I think we've figured out how to catch some bites. I don't know how well that's going to do us though, just getting bit. So looking back here in the largemouth land, we're throwing some spinner baits, and now I'm just kind of going down the gut down the middle and seeing if there's any jerkbait fish before we get out of here and start heading out more to the main again, and see if we can find a secondary, third pattern kind of thing.
All right. So, like he said, the biggest key so far is at least he's built the confidence that he's getting bites. He's seeing fish, and almost every spot that we pulled up on, he's had bites, he's caught fish. This creek is probably the first place really that hasn't really paid off for us, as well as most of the other places. But it's a major creek in the section of the lake, the upper end that we're in. So you definitely got to pull into it and eliminate water. And you got to remember, and I'm sure John will tell you the same thing, eliminating areas during practice is as important.
It's more important.
It's more important. There. Say that again.
It's more important.
It's more important than actually finding the fish, especially on day one of practice. So what do you got, John? 3 days of practice? Okay. So three and a half right now. So yeah, it's like I said, more important to eliminate areas than it is to actually find and catch those fish. You want to catch one or two to have that confidence, especially on a lake like this lake. And John said this, a lake he's never been to before. But we'll keep you posted. I'm having a great time. I'm learning a ton, and we'll do a wrap up. Oh. I was about to say he missed that thing I don't know how many times. Yep.
Back in our smallmouth land, aren't
We are. Well, that's a long, skinny one.
Tell you what, that didn't take long, did it?
Nope, it did not. Back down in the 55-degree area.
I think if I get around them, I can catch them.
Yep.
So, I'll tell you what, Hank. We've learned some things. We learned some things. We just went and put our time in. Pretty little 2-pounder. I'm gonna put her back. But we put our time in and couldn't catch some fish. What's that, baby? Oh, I love you too. I love you. I love you. Oh, I'm married. I'm sorry. So, I can't repeat what she told me, but yeah. And then we just got down. We're a couple hundred yards down from where we caught a 3-pound, well, a good smallmouth, not 2.5 or whatever. But there was some 3s. And guess what, man? She was right. But the thing is, guys, is they ain't just jumping on this jerkbait. You got to know how to make them bite. And so that's what I've been practicing, is a little bit of the give and take and what you got to give to them so they'll take it. So let's go back and see if we can catch a couple more.
Yeah, guys, that was really, really neat. I was watching it on his unit back here. He's got it set to where I can actually watch what he's doing. And that's really what I've been doing a lot today, is just, you know, learning, watching how he's moving the bait, how he's targeting the fish, you know, the cast. And it was really neat because that fish, you know, would come up, and as soon as he would twitch it, it would, you know, kind of come running at it. And it actually missed it 2 or 3 times. So he would kind of twitch, pause it just for a split second. He'd come up to it, and then as soon as he'd twitch it, it'd swipe at it. So it's really interesting to watch how that fish reacted to that jerkbait. And we got another, he's done spotted him another one up here. So, but we really did. We've spent the second half of the day so far kind of covering water, fishing different things, and we come back down to where we found them this morning, and it's paid off. For whatever reason, the main lake water temp here is some of the warmest in the lake, at 55 degrees. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe this area maintains that as practice goes on, or if this kind of gets pushed down the lake, if it's moving with the water color and clarity for some reason. So we're watching. Now you're just showing off. Yep. Yep. Quick release.
Broke that line, didn't I? Well, poor guy.
So before my phone dies, because I'm running out of battery because John has laid into them. So let's go ahead, let's wrap up the day before it dies. Tell me a little bit about what you feel on day 1 of practice.
This is good practice, guys. I don't know how many keepers. I want to say we're in that 15 range. We also had, we didn't catch any big ones. We had 3 big ones pull off. We saw one jump off. So when I say big, football.
Yeah.
I like that sound. I'm saying, you know, 3-pounders for sure. You know what I mean? For sure, 3-pounder. Okay. figured out how to get bit. I figured out how to get a lot of bites. I started figuring out how to get a little bit bigger bites. And towards the end of the day, I had a lot of followers throughout the day. And I figured out a little bait switch that it just seems like they're on them. It's either the time of day with a low light. I don't think so. They're committing a lot more to this. A little bit smaller jerk bait, smaller profile bait. So we're gonna run with that tomorrow, obviously. Feeling good. Now listen, 15 pounds a day plus 14 plus is what I'm gonna need to get a top 10. And I'm on a 12-pound limit right now. Now, if I just hunkered in these areas where I found them and the pattern that I found them on and just hammered it, I feel like I'm gonna get a couple threes, maybe up to 5. So this has potential to be 15 pounds, just what we're doing right now. I would like to have a lot more guarantee. Like, what I mean by that is like 10 or 15 3-pounders a day to guarantee that I'm there. Then I'm gonna really feel like I'm on them. But for a first day, guys, a lake I've never been to, you know, you gotta be happy with that many bites. We spent the morning figuring out how the fish were reacting to bait. They were lethargic, and then we kind of ran with that and went from open water, went to some docks, started figuring out some stuff on some docks, and then we went to some shallower rock and started figuring out some stuff. And by the end of the day, we're in 60 foot of water on bluffs. And there's a couple things that all these fish have in common, which is good. It means it's a pattern that I can continue to run and run and run, which means in a tournament, if I came, let's say this spot right here, it's been really good. Let's say I wanted to start here and I came in, there's 5 boats, no stress. It sucks, but I'll roll on, find another bank that looks similar and just fish. And that's what I'm excited about more than anything. I think we're gonna be able to get bit from head to toe of this lake. Tomorrow, we'll go to the other end. That will be Monday, and we'll see you know, what we can put together there size-wise. We're gonna kind of need to run the same pattern down that way so we can see if we can get bit doing it, and then see if those sizes of the fish are bigger. Maybe they all start showing up 3-pounders, and that's gonna tell me to focus more on Tuesday and half a day Wednesday down. But other than that, man, it was an awesome day. Got to get out with my man, the BassGeek.
And we appreciate you for having us, man. I've learned so much today over really just watching. And that's what I wanted to do. I know he's probably like, this dude didn't fish all day. I'm like, no, if I get a chance to get in a boat with somebody of John's caliber, my rear end's watching. I want to learn. I want to be able to learn and apply the lessons that he's taught me today. It's awesome. I can't wait to go back and watch this. So, all right, guys. Hey, thank you for having me on your boat, man. I appreciate it. I hope I didn't hold you up or.
No, we caught him. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great day. It was great to watch him, guys. Make sure you go subscribe to
BassGeek.
No.
Oh yeah, my channel.
Yes.
I got a channel. I forgot I was doing this thing.
Yes.
The Hookup with Soukup.
There you go.
You can find me on YouTube.
There you go. And anywhere else in the interwebs and social medias, he's out there, guys. So go follow him, go like him, go subscribe to him. I'm a huge fan, and it's an honor to be here today. But as always, guys, questions and comments in the comment section below. Make sure you leave those comments down there. You know I love to talk about fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, you guys rock. Cool. There's only 2 trucks left in the parking lot. There's mine right out there, the Bass Tank, and the BassGeek. Putting in work, baby.